60% of all students at a college still need to take another math class. If 35 students are randomly selected, find the probability that exactly 20 of them need to take another math class. And then at most 23 at least, and blah, 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 blah. All right, so do you notice that this is a totally different kind of question? In other words, it's not an expected value question. There's no mention of expected value in here. There's really not even a mention of probability. We're not really, I mean, we kind of are, but they're not directly using the word probability. So in other words, you go to a campus, and at that campus, 60% of all the students at that college still need to take a math class, right? So if you grab 35 students at random from that college, what's the probability, what's the chance that exactly 20 out of the 35 will need to take another math class? Do you think that's very likely? Just off the top of your head, if you were to say, hey, I went to this campus, I heard that 60% of the students still need to take another math class. I grabbed 35, I surveyed, I went to a class that had 35 students in it, and I asked them, and what's the chance exactly 20, not 21, not 19, exactly 20 needed to take another math class? Do you think that's very likely?
No.
No, that's not very likely, that exactly 20, huh? So we're expecting a pretty small probability for that, pretty small chance of that happening. Anyway, long story short, how are we going to calculate it? Well, it says right down here, video on finding binomial probabilities. So what we're doing is a binomial probability, and I'm making the video right now for you. There's other videos on finding binomial probabilities. So how do we find a binomial? What are we talking about? Well, this is a calculator thing. Let me go to our notes. You guys have your TI 84, 83, 84 calculators? This is all button pushing. Let me show you. So we go over here to the exam notes. And here it is. It's number 5 on the exam 2 notes. Let me bring it over and I'll paste it in here where you guys can see it better. And here we go. All right, so here it is. So here's, again, you can use these exam notes on the exam and just add to them whatever you need. They're meant to help you. Most of my students back in the face-to-face days would print these out and use them with them during the exams and just add their notes to it. I think that's a good idea. That's why I made it, to help you. So probability of exactly, less than, at least, more than, that's what we're talking about. How do we do it? Second distribution. So that's a button on your calculator. In fact, let me add to it. It's, there, I don't change the color. So it's second, and it's the button that says bars. It has the word distribution above it. And that's what you're getting when you hit second. You're getting the thing above the VARS button. So hit second and the VARS button. The VARS button is over on the right side, just below the 4 arrows, the little mouse pad 4 arrow thing. So the VARS button is right next to clear. So you'll see that right on the right side next to the clear button. Next to the clear button, it's right next to the 4 arrow button. So you'll see the VARS. So hit second and VARS, and when you do, you'll get a menu of some different options. And what you want is find the question. So now we're going to find our question. Our question is exactly 20, right? Right now, part A, we're trying to answer exactly 20. So it says right here, for exactly, you find binom PDF. Binom PDF. Binom PDF, put in the number of trials, the probability, and 4. So let me go write that up here for you. So we're going to go second vars, variables, which gets the different distributions up, and choose binom PDF. There's binom PDF and there's binom CDF. For exactly, we want PDF, and then this is going to be number of trials, probability, and then the number you want goes right here. So what are the number of trials? 35, because there's 35 students. You're trying to find out 35 times who needs another math class. You're trying it 35 times. 35 students are being asked, do you need another math class? What's the probability each time? That's the 60%. So you put in 0.60, and the number you want is you want 20. You're hoping to get exactly 20. So that's what you put into your calculator. 35, comma, 0.60, comma, 20. Hit enter. I'm getting the answer. And does it want, how many places? It doesn't say, does it? How many places to round? So what I got is 0.0045. I'll just round to 4 places, I guess. Seems like what they always want. Is that good? Are you guys getting that okay? Questions I can answer?
Yeah, Mr. Hearn, on my binom PDF, it says trials, it says P, semicolon, and then X value to put in your numbers. Now, I know you said comma, 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 but I didn't understand where those go on the calculator.
Oh, you have a newer kind. Okay, what does it say? So probably a lot of people have the same one you do, one. So you're for binom PDF. In fact, yeah, I could probably get that on my screen here. Let me, the one I have on my computer is the newer kind, so I can probably see exactly what you're talking about and be more helpful. Let's see here. Let me get my TI emulator up here.
How many decimals are we supposed to put in?
I think 4. Yes,
4, okay.
my calculator, right? So here's the var, go second vars. Is everybody seeing this okay on my screen? There's normal PDF. I'll hit enter. Oh yeah, so it's like this, huh? This is what you guys have?
Wasn't that binom PDF?
Oh yeah, thanks. I did the wrong thing. Thanks. I'm being crazy. Let's try it again. Second distribution. Yeah, I'm supposed to go down to binom.
I got 0.1275.
I think I did the wrong thing, guys. Here, let me do it right here. Binom PDF. Yeah, so it's way at the bottom, isn't it? Way down there at the bottom. I think I did the wrong thing. Let's trials. Yeah, so trials is the 35 in my example. 35 trials. And the p-value is the probability. That's the 0.60. I can't see the point here. 0.60. You can just go 0.6 or 0.60. And the x value is what the number you want. So that's what, 20, at least in my example. And enter, and then just enter. And enter one more time. Oh yeah, is that what you guys got? 0.1275?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I messed up. I was doing the wrong thing. I didn't look close.
Can you show me again?
Yeah, I'll go through it one more time.
How you do it, the calc?
7.5. Yeah, so let's do it again. So, so one more time. So from the beginning, you have to hit. In fact, I can put up the button.
Your calculator is not in the middle, Mr. Harry.
Oh, you can't see it? Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
it now.
Great. Let me move this off to the side somewhere. Okay, that'll be fine. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to hit. In fact, here, let me view the buttons. Press history. Okay, it'll show the buttons I'm pressing as I go. Here we go. So I'm going to hit second vars. And then I'm going to have to go down, 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 down to binom PDF. Do you see it right there? Binom PDF. It's way down there near the bottom. You could get there quicker by rolling over the top. You know, that'd be even quicker. So if you're right here in the beginning, just go up and, well, no, that's a little ways too. Whatever. Oh, that wasn't a good idea. Never mind. Where is the thing? There it is. Binom PDF. So find binom PDF. Let me clear. That was crazy. So binom PDF, hit enter. And then you have to put in these numbers. So put in the trials for mine. And then you go down arrow and put in the probability. Mine was 0.6. The X-ray, that's the number you want. Mine was 20. Go down and hit, and then start hitting enter a bunch until you see the answer. So hit enter, enter. There it is. 0.1275.
Mine is like L1, L2, L3. Did I do the wrong one?
I think you did it right. You want to hit second vars.
Yeah, I clicked second force and then click the binom
You went to the
PDF.
down here, binom PDF,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
hit enter, and it should give you this screen.
Yeah, I click enter. It's not give me that screen. It just give me
Okay,
L1.
better move on. Crystal, now
Yeah,
help with
maybe later.
afterwards.
Okay. All right.
All right, so let's move on. I want to make sure I get through all these problems for you guys. So getting back to my iPad. Screen, okay. So now, next question, it says at most 23. So how are we going to do at most? Well, you go down to the notes I gave you, and I give it to you right here, at most. What do? You do binom CDF. Notice it's different. It's CDF. All the other ones are CDF. CDF, 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 CDF. The other one, the only one that's binom PDF is the exactly. Okay, so what are we going to do? At most 4? At most 4 means 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, doesn't it? That's what it means to have at most 4. So what do? You put in binom PDF, number of trials, probability 4 or less. So let's do it. So binom CDF, and then depending on how your calculator goes, number of trials, probability, and the number we're going to put in at most 23, 23 or less. So I'm going to type in, what's the number of trials for me? It's 35 trials, and the probability is still 0.60 or 0.6. And then I type in 23. So depending on whether you have the old style or the newer style of the TI, you could put them in parentheses with commas, or maybe you list it vertically. Either way, depending on your calculator, right there. So, so if you do that, so go ahead and crank out the numbers there. And
Wait, Mr. Aaron,
question?
we would just put 23 for the X value on the calculator?
Yeah, just 23. I'm just writing the or less just to help put in your mind what it's doing, because that'll help later. But yeah, you just put in the number 23.
All right.
Correct. So I'm going to go back to my calculator screen, and I'm going to do this. Let me quit this one. You have to hit quit when you're done with one of them, and I'll go into a new one here. Here we go. Second vars. I'm going to go all the way down to binom CDF this time. CDF, right? Watch out that you go in the right one. So I'm on binom CDF. Number of trials for me was 35. And then go down. P, the probability is 0.6. I got to get to that decimal there. 0.6. And then at the X value, I do 23 because it's 23 or less. Hit enter, enter, enter. I'm getting 0.8048. I'm assuming they want 4 places. 8048. 0.8048. 8 on that. Is that good there?
So I was going to ask you about the decimal. It doesn't say whether you use 4 decimals or not. It just says put in a decimal or a whole number. So should we put the whole thing in there, the whole series of numbers?
A whole number means like a whole number, not a decimal. No, just put in the decimal. Just go 4 places.
Just go 4 places? It's not saying to, but I'm just...
It's what?
It's not saying to use 4 decimals. It's just saying put in a decimal.
Right. It's not saying, so I'm just guessing. So go,
Okay.
so you can just hit enter and see if it takes it.
Okay, I'll do that.
We good? I'm on part C now. Any other questions on B? All right. So now on C, at least 21. So how are we going to do at least 21? Well, come on down, grab the at least. Here it is, at least. Now, this is going to get more tricky. This is why I'm kind of hurrying along. I wanted to show you guys this. This gets a little more advanced here. So for the at least kind, you have to do the binom CDF, and then afterwards, 1 minus the answer. Because it's opposite. It's a little tricky. So you're going to need to follow what I say carefully. This is where people have trouble with these. So you're going to need to follow carefully exactly what it says there. So at least 4. Notice what I'm doing. Notice my pattern carefully. Everybody tracking with me? Everybody seeing this? At least 4 means 3 is the opposite of 3 or less. Do you see how I changed the number? I'm giving you an example of at least 4. So in my case, at least whatever, 23 or whatever it says, I'm going to have to put 22 here. Do you see how you put one number lower? You see how that works? All right, so let me go back and write that for you. So at least 21, that's going to be binom CDF, and then the number of trials, you know, that's just going to be like usual in my case, 35. The probability, that doesn't change, that's just 0.60. And then here we go with the X, what does it say, the X value it wants or whatever? You're going to have to put in 20. See that? 1 lower than the at least number. Everybody tracking with me? 1 lower than the at least number. Why? Because the calculator, the binom CDF, always does your number or less. So what it's really doing is doing 20 or less. Now, but we want at least 21, right? That's the opposite, isn't it? If I said I want at least 21 students, that means 21 or more. At least 21 means 21 or more. So the opposite, this is the opposite here. 20 or less is the opposite of what we want. So then when we're done, you hit enter, you've got it at the end. At the end, you've got to take your answer and you've got to go 1 minus, and you've got to hit the answer button. You've got to hit second and the negative key. The negative key that's at the bottom of the keyboard that says ANS above it. That's your answer button. You got to hit 1 minus second answer and then hit equals or enter. And you'll get your final answer. Are you tracking with me on that? So this is more difficult. So for the at least 21, this is what you have to do. So you have the X number you have to enter is 1 lower than whatever you have for the at least, because we're doing the opposite. The opposite of at least 21 is 20 or less. And then you get that answer, which is the opposite. So and you know what we do with the opposite, like rain and not rain, we have to take 1 minus, don't we? So at the very end, you have to take 1 minus second answer equals. And you'll get your final answer. That's what you have to do. Everybody seeing that? Let me go back to my screen. I'll do it real quick.
Mr. Heron, mine says it has a syntax error. I think
Yeah, have to check with us in the breakout here in a few minutes. So second distribution, whoop, my calculator's not on. Okay, so second distribution, I'll go down to binom CDF, hit enter, number of trials, 35 probably, and then I'm gonna put in here, I had at least 21, so I'm gonna put in 20, because that's the opposite of at least 20. Now I'm gonna hit enter a bunch of times till I get an answer there. See, I've got an answer on my screen, but that's the opposite. So now I'm gonna go 1 minus, maybe that's the syntax error. You have to hit subtract. That's the subtraction button, not the negative. Everybody see that? 1 subtract, or let me move this out of the way. And then 1 subtract, and then second answer. See that? See how I hit the answer button? 1 subtract, second answer, enter. And see, it did the opposite. There's my real answer, 0.5728. I'll round it to 572. Or you can just type in all those digits if you want. It doesn't matter. If you just want to type them all in, it'll take it. Questions I can answer on that?
Question. So you minus it twice?
No.
You would, because you had 30 or 21, right? For your for C?
Yeah, so here it is on my screen. It's subtract, second, and then you're hitting the negative button, but you're doing it to get the answer.
Okay.
Because you're hitting second. So whenever you hit second before you hit any key, you actually get what's above that key, the second function of that key.
I think she means your X value. Do you minus, because it's asking for at least 21, then you minus for the X value to be 20.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, you're right. I wasn't catching you. Yeah, you're right. We got to take that 21 and we got to subtract 1 from it when we put it in for our X value, true. And then we also do 1 minus our final answer because we need to do opposite. Yeah, so in that sense, we are subtracting 1 twice, kind of. This isn't really subtracting 1, it's 1 minus. The 1 comes first, not after. But I get what you mean, sort of, yes. Does that make sense then on that process? Let's do the last one on this part. It says between 17 to 9. I know this is hard. If you're having trouble with this, Crystal and I will help you in the breakout. Let me go on and finish this part though so that we have it all here for you. So I'm going to erase what I did because I got to do the between, which is even more challenging. So the between here is challenging. Trying to get all this stuff erased. There we go. All right. So now between 17 and 24. How do we do that? Well, go down again to our notes. And it says it right here, between. So for between, you've got to do 2 binom CDFs. Do you see that? And the first one has got to be the bigger number. And the second one has to be 1 less than the smaller number. Do you see that? The 2 there, which is 1 less than 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So it's 2 binom CDFs. And you got to subtract them. And the second one has got to be 1 less. So let's do it. So the game plan is binom CDF. Trials again for me, 35. Probability 0.60, that doesn't change. And then the X, I put the first number. My 24. And then I got to go over here and do binom again. So you get that answer. Then you do binom CDF again. And again, trials is 35. And probability is 0.60. The X bar, now this is going to be 16. It's the second number minus 1. See how I grabbed that? Second number, 17 minus 1 is 16. And then you got to hit enter a couple of times. I think it's at least 2 or 3 times till you get your answer. Hit enter. So then you've got to subtract your 2 answers. We got to subtract our 2 answers to get the answer.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, well, it's all on the screen there. If you want to take a snapshot of the screen or something. So yeah, I can talk through it. So you take the first number. So you got to do binom CDF twice. The first time, the trials and the probability are the same both times. It doesn't change. 35. For all these, the trials have been 35 and the probability has been 0.60. But what changes is the X. So the first time, the X is your first number. The second time, the X is your second number minus 1. So my lower number, or I could say your lower number. Yeah, maybe I should say it that way. That'd be more clear. Let's do it that way. Higher number. Your first number is the higher number. And your second number is the lower number minus 1. 17 minus 1, 16. Yeah, so you do the higher number first and then the lower number minus 1. Yeah, then you get your 2 answers. Once you got the 2 answers on your screen, then you retype them in and subtract them. So write down your 2 answers, or you'll just have them on the screen.
So would you subtract the first one from the second one?
Right. It doesn't really matter. If you do it the wrong order, it'll come out negative, but it'll be the right answer. Just type it in positive. There's no such thing as a negative probability. So just, yeah, either way, just type in the positive answer. Yeah, that's right. So let me show it. If you've got that, you guys got that copied down? Or take a screenshot of it or whatever you want. All right, and then I'm gonna go do it on my screen here. So, okay, so I'm gonna go to second distribution. Wait, I turn my calculator on. Clear this, all right. Second distribution, go on down to binom CDF, hit enter. Trials are 35.
PDF?
CDF. These are all CDF. The only one that does PDF is the exactly. All the rest are CDF on that. And the first, I put in my higher number first, 24, hit enter a bunch of times, and there's my first answer. Now I go back in and do it again. Second distribution, go on down to binom CDF. And I changed this time the X becomes the lower number minus 1. So my lower number was 17, minus 1 is 16. And then hit enter 3 times, and there's my second answer. So now you just type those in. I got a decimal point here. 0.887745. You can do about 5 or 6 places. That's enough. Subtract, and then 0.06 1, 5, 3, 2. That's plenty. And there's the answer I get. Just make sure you do enough decimals that they want. I got 0.826213.
I'm confused on how you got that.
I did binom CDF for both of those. And I did it the first time for the higher number and got this answer. And then I went back in and did binom CDF again for the lower number -1. So higher number and then lower number -1. Got the two answers and subtracted them. Let me go back to my other screen so you can see my iPad where I've written it all out for you. There we go. Yeah, so there it is on the screen. So you do the whole binom CDF with the higher number. My higher number was 24. And then you do binom CDF again with the lower number -1. So I took 17 minus 1, 17 minus 1, 16, and put that in. So you do the binom CDF with the higher number, the binom CDF with the lower number -1, take those two answers and subtract them.
Yeah, I'm not getting the right number.
Yeah, we can help you in the breakout.
Yeah.
Is that good? Any general questions though on what I'm saying?